Annyeong. My name is Nana Bontu. I'm the Marketing and Recruitment Manager here at George Mason University. Today I'm going to be going through a couple questions with you all that typically come up with our Korean students. So the first question that comes up a lot is, which state do students participate in OPT the most at GMU? And the answer for that is Washington, D.C. Our students live pretty much in the Washington, D.C. area. We are about 24 kilometers away from Washington, D.C. So there are so many jobs in the D.C. area, Maryland, and Virginia. But predominantly, a lot of our students will work in the tech fields, also the government fields, different sectors all around the Washington, D.C. area. Question number 2. What is the difference between Fairfax and Arlington campus? Where do INTO students study? Good question. So the difference between the two campuses mainly is the Arlington campus is a graduate campus. Arlington has about 4 different schools there, colleges, which predominantly do graduate studies. So our business, politics, our School of Conflict Analysis and Resolution, all are housed at the Arlington campus. Fairfax campus is the main campus. So we do have some business courses here for the undergraduate students. We have a lot of our programs and also administration and our health centers and housing all on the Fairfax campus. So the big difference really between them is that Fairfax is a bigger campus that houses all the students, has a lot of the undergraduate programs here, whereas Arlington is more of a city campus and has a lot of the graduate studies programs. Where do INTO students study? So typically our INTO students, all of the undergraduate studies programs and academic English programs will be on the Fairfax campus. There are a select group of programs which students will have at the Arlington campus, and those are arts management, conflict analysis and resolution, international commerce policy, public policy, MBA, real estate development management, and accounting. Those are the ones that students, mainly the graduate students, will have classes at the Arlington campus. Question number 3. Now this question says, what topics are being covered during orientation? Okay, so during orientation, students will arrive and we offer free airport pickup for students who arrive within a certain day window, typically the 2 days prior to orientation. Now, when students get there, we will cover topics such as, how do I get a bank account? How do I get my classes registered? What is my health insurance cover? How do I contact the health office? How do I meet an advisor? So we essentially make sure that the first couple of days of orientation, we're giving students the quick resources that they need to be able to succeed at university. So it's very important that students arrive and they can get all these courses covered. We also provide the housing at the time for students, so they'll be able to check into their housing, and we provide a shopping trip where they can go and get different things that they need for their housing as well. Number 4 says, can a student apply for housing waiver or insurance waiver? Okay, so when it comes to a housing waiver, yes, we do offer housing waivers. What students would need to do is they would need to make a special request through the housing waiver form, which you can send you once you request it. Typically for students who are 21 and over, we can grant a housing waiver. If a student is under the age of 21, it's very difficult for us to give a housing waiver unless they maybe have some family very close by to the campus. However, they would need to fill out the waiver form. Our housing officer would contact you and let you know if you've been given a waiver or not. When it comes to insurance, we always typically say for insurance, do not buy insurance from South Korea and bring it to the United States. Most insurances that are coming from overseas will not work in the US. So you are able to apply for a waiver if the insurance is bought in the US, and it's sometimes related to maybe a family member who has insurance here. However, to do that, you have to fill out the insurance waiver form, and the health department will be able to review everything, make sure it has comparable coverages to the international student insurance before they can give you a waiver. Okay, question number 5. What exactly is conflict analysis and resolution? Another very good question. So conflict analysis and resolution is a major, both at the undergrad and the graduate level. I typically tell students who are looking to get into maybe an NGO or work for some kind of like the World Bank or United Nations to apply for these kind of programs. Conflict analysis and resolution has a lot of negotiation classes involved in that. And for students who are looking to become pretty much problem solvers, peace builders in the local communities, and also looking to do cross-cultural international barriers are typically the students who want to apply for this program. As the world is becoming increasingly connected, the ability to create and maintain cross-cultural connections is increasing and is very important. So students who want to get into that kind of environment and working in a cross-cultural environment, typically this is the major for those students. Okay. Now, question number 6. Why should a student study MA in Arts Management at GMU? So why should you study an MA in Arts Management? So the Arts Management program is pretty much a practical, experiential, and global. What the program does is it encourages students to build a balanced foundation of executive leadership, skills necessary to succeed in the nonprofit visual and performing arts management. So essentially, students who are looking to work in the growing demand of arts management courses, programs. So working at the museums, students that want to have their own, someday create their own arts center. This is essentially a program for those type of students. It has a lot of managerial components to it, so you will get the managerial side of owning a business and running it, as well as managerial side of working with a full-out business. All right, so the next question says, do you take second degree seekers through UTP? The answer is yes. We can take students who already have a degree through the UTP. Typically, you cannot come for the degree at Mason if you already have a degree prior. So you cannot come from a computer science degree and say you want another computer science degree at Mason. It would have to be in a totally different subject, and you'd have to make sure you submit all documents of your education history while in the admissions process. The next question says, what happens if a student does not meet the progression requirements? How many times can they retake the course? So if a student does not meet the progression requirements, it depends per the major they're going into. Some majors will allow them one more semester as an extender, and they'll be able to take some more courses in their major. So if, for example, they don't pass a certain course, they'll be able to repeat that course. However, some programs will typically tell a student, unfortunately, if you don't meet it the first time, you would have to change your major. So it all depends on the program. Some of them are more strict than other programs. So we want to make sure students always give their best chance at the first go. Now, how many times can they retake the course? Your students can retake the course once. Okay, so the last question says, how are students being prepared for GRE, GMAT, and when do they take the exam? So students who have to take GRE or GMAT will, while they're studying, have a GRE, GMAT preparation course. This course is for all students taking the GRE or GMAT, and it's a course that they have to continue out through the semester until they take the GRE or GMAT. And if they succeeded, they can stop taking the course. However, it prepares them very well. A lot of our students do go ahead and take the course because we put it in their program and they have to sit down for the course. If a student does not pass the GRE or GMAT, depending on the program, for them to progress, they might give them another chance to retake the GRE or GMAT and score a higher score than they previously did.